Welcome, everyone. We're back. All right. So, what I'm waiting for right now is for the White House to go live so I can share that with you guys. And he's supposed to be addressing the nation. So, if anyone does have a link to something in case the White House doesn't go live, I don't know. That's that's funny. I like that one. I mean, I appreciate you. Come on, White House. Maybe the YouTube account goes live? No? Okay, we gotta find something that does go live. Maybe Fox News Live. Um, hey guys, yeah, it's me. I'm back. Where is the chat though? Oh no, I can't see Armin's chat. Here's what I'll do. Boom. Oh man, what could it be? What could it be? I'm excited, but I don't want to be disappointed in case that they're talking about like China or something. I don't know. Because he did just come back from his trip with China. There's also a possibility that we could just be sitting here for like half an hour before the White House decides to go live. But they did say 9 p.m. Eastern, and it is 9 p.m. Eastern. I don't want this anxiety. Just go live. But in the meantime, if you guys have questions, please feel free to ask. Also, do you guys remember that book that we were covering yesterday called the Shahnameh? We were like talking about the story of like Iblis and Zahak and Feridun and Rostam. So this is that book. And this is a book in English, but it kind of looks like that. So that's kind of the art style. You know what it kind of reminds me of? Kind of reminds me like if you see this, if you see the soldier, you can see him having like a bow, and he'll have a sword as well, in like the way he's dressed, right? So soldiers back then were trained with pretty much all weapons, and the way that they were raised would be like if you were of the warrior class, you would start by wrestling, which is still Iran's like pretty much number one sport that they're good at. And then you would graduate to using the bow and the sword and then the spear and riding from like a very early age. You would ride horses, which is why the Parthian horse archers were like the most famous unit of the time. And then the Persian immortals. So if you see the movie 300, they have like a horrific depiction of the Persian immortals. Like those were so stupid. But yeah, we have our modern day Persian immortals. They're called Garda Javidan, the Immortal Guard. But the idea was back then, they were about like 10,000 strong, and then they had auxiliary units too. But every time one of them would be like cut down in battle, just like how the United States military today does everything it can, does everything, yeah, in its power to go and recover that wounded soldier, they would go and recover that wounded soldier so that if they weren't captured or even if they were slain, the mask wasn't taken off and revealed that like, oh my God, it's just a human being. And that's how they kept up their image of immortals, because there were 10,000 strong, and every time you would cut down one of them, they would just add another person. And since they're like kind of hidden, like their faces, you couldn't really tell who you got. And boom, next day back to 10,000. That was kind of like the gist of it. And they were super duper elite. There were also Greeks or Egyptians or other countries or ethnicities or whatever. There were also soldiers from those countries in there. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be on time, guys. You guys are right. You guys are right. In the entire history of yeah. What's going on? The Shahnameh? We're basically waiting for the White House to go live. But if there's a link, let's just say the White House didn't go live and somehow they're broadcasting it from somewhere else. If you guys do have a link to that, please send it. I am looking everywhere. We gotta find out what he's saying. We gotta find out what he's saying. I personally have like a little bit of anxiety. I don't know. Because like, here's the thing, right? He just came back from China, so he could just be talking about how America is going to be great again. But then he also goes on Truth Social and he posts the calm before the storm. And so now we're thinking, okay, well, are you gonna, you know? The White House is always late. Yeah, I know. But what if they weren't? That was a good one. That was a good one. Could be about the ISIS military chief getting killed. I don't think he would address the nation over that. I highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. But you, I mean, if you're right, I'm going to tell everyone that Sarah was right. Yeah. I told you Trump runs on Trump time, not EST time. Yeah. But hey, let's just say I was late and they did actually start on time for once. Trump addresses nation tonight. Let's check to see if there's any like breaking news. So 11 Air Force C-17s are leaving. Okay, we already covered that. There's a lot of cargo aircraft that just unloaded the equipment that they brought to the Middle East and they left back to Europe. There's some unusual like planes just going in random directions. Like there's a plane that's patrolling off the coast of Pakistan. And then there's like helicopters, like Black Hawks and Apaches in the United Arab Emirates. And the regime fully knows that we're going back to strikes. So, you know, it's Saturday. If it happens, it should happen. What time is it in Iran? It's 4:30 a.m. in Iran right now. Yeah, I mean, who knows? We also have to consider the possibility that the strikes won't start the same way that they did last time with like these big noticeable boom booms. Like maybe, right? Operation Freedom Plus is targeting the Hormuz Strait first, which would involve troops, and you're not going to be loud about that, right? You're just going to go in quiet until the objective's done, and even then, you don't really want to advertise that. They're 9 minutes late. How dare they not respect our time? Our time. Right, guys? Someone says, Brotherhood of Steel says, I assume strikes are going to happen in 24 or 48 hours. Maybe, and this time they have a total new plan. Yeah, we can kind of guesstimate their new plan. Okay, it's the Strait of Hormuz, and then which is going to involve ground troops. Then it's going to be the taking out of the IRGC from the air again by both Israel and the United States. but that's like that's the general top macro strategy. And this is not including the Iranian people. So the strikes, I think, have to happen first. Then when everything is like finished, like all the Basij, IRGC, etc., are taken out, and then the people will come out on the streets afterward. Like that just makes chronological sense. Yeah, Carrie's right. Our time is valuable. Hmm. Let's see, what else did we cover today? So the regime is handing out weapons to pretty much all the regime supporters, but they're doing it mainly in mosques, I assume. Which just means that if you're a regular like Iranian who is against the regime, you could probably just pay a regime supporter to go and get that weapon for you because um, we know that the regime supporters sell their internet, so it's not unheard of. But to be fair, the ones getting the weapons are probably pretty Durka. It's gonna be hard. Mazi, you can't say stuff like that. We have taken Keshm Island. Gotta verify it. Can't get my hopes up. I didn't follow, but Guy said it's the third Eurovision straight Israel is second place. Really? Hmm. Yeah, I heard Bulgaria won. I don't know how often that happens. Are they good at Eurovision? It's so quiet. It's too quiet. Come on. Maybe check Truth Social. Maybe there's some hint over there. Please. No, the last post was from 2 hours ago, which makes sense. I mean, he's getting ready for his speech, right? Refresh this like 20 times. Oh man. Let's see what people are thinking about what Trump's going to talk about. See if there's any good takes here. Okay, so most people don't think he's going to be talking about anything important, which just means that no one's up to date on the news. The deals with China, possibly the war with the Islamic Republic, could be. Last time he didn't address the nation. He just released that video of, Iranian people take back your country. Where did you hear there was going to be an address? Pretty much everywhere. You could just search up. You'd be like, Trump addresses nation tonight. Oh wait, or am I getting trolled? Like completely trolled? Because this person is actually reputable. Yeah, what? There's a couple of reputable people saying stuff. Guys, how embarrassing would it be if we got trolled? What's making me think that is like, okay, so there's a couple people talking about it, and then the White House itself is saying, "Stay tuned, we will be live again shortly." But who knows? It could just be a rickroll. Yeah, you guys are saying that you haven't found anything either. Yeah. All right, you know what? It was worth it. It was worth it. We got brought back together again, and just on the off chance that there was something important. Okay, yeah, I think Fox News would have covered it by now. All right, it is probably a false alarm. And we have gotten trolled. But on the bright side, I think you made this thing up. I didn't make it up. In fact, some of the people that I get like my latest news from posted this. So I trusted them because I've trusted other things that they said. Maybe I should unfollow. All right, so let's just recap, okay? So we know that President Trump is going to make a decision soon, if not already made the decision, which I think he made it last time he met with all those generals, which was what, like four-ish, 5 days ago. So he's made his decision. And to be fair, the most predictable time to make the attack would be right now. He is on now at ET News. I feel like you're trolling me. Huh. Anyway, let me just finish what I was saying. Okay, so right now is the most predictable time for the attack to happen because the regime knows it's full moon, which means there's no light in the sky, perfect for aerial operations. So they're going to be on high alert. They're going to be super prepared. It would literally make sense to just wait like a day and start tomorrow, or even like during the week, because people tend to think that because the stock market is up and running that strikes wouldn't happen. Who knows? Maybe the correction of the stock market could coincide with this. Gene, I think you're trolling me. I don't think he's live. You said he's live on ET News. That's not even you're trolling. Anyway. Most predictable as in if the strikes were going to happen right now, or sorry, if the strikes were going to happen right now would be the most time they would make the most sense. I am not. It says live on ET News. I just searched up ET News. That's like ET News isn't even a. What is this? That's not even a channel. Okay, I trust you. I trust you. But you got to be more specific. Anyway. Extraterrestrial equals ET. Yeah. It was an old video. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. This would definitely be covered more. I just thought because it was a last minute announcement that perhaps something was actually happening. Armin, if you're watching, my bad. So much fun. The only way he'd address the nation on a Saturday night would be if something serious went down. Yeah. Yeah. I heard someone say that he was riding the high of going to China and getting the deal done, and that he was gonna like have the strikes happen next week with his administration because they're gonna come off the high of being in China. And I remember reading that and being like, like how do people think that's how things work at the top? Do they think that things aren't planned out, or that if they are, that they can just like uh at the drop of a hat like change things? No, you're good, John. Let this be episode 1 of Alien Revolution Live. Well, actually, I still don't know what we should call this show. Someone did give a kind of good name, which was like A2, because we're both A, but and we're like a battery. You know what I mean? All right. So all we know is that it's the calm before the storm. President Trump is going to use a space death laser ray or something. You're right though. Mark Levin is going to talk some night. I assume you need a membership or something to watch that. But I just kind of rack my brains. Here's the part that I'm kind of annoyed at. I rack my brains all the time. I think about this all the time. What can the regime possibly do? And then I totally missed them just being able to arm regular regime supporters. And I thought I was thinking outside the box like all the time, but I guess not. No, it's live on Fox in about 50 minutes. Okay, Mark Levin. Yeah, I don't imagine he would have anything like on. I can probably imagine what he's going to talk about. We have to strike the Islamic Republic. We have to finish them off. They're not willing to negotiate. And we are going to go back to strikes. That's probably going to say that. Everything that we've been saying. So you actually don't need a membership to go and watch. All right, I should stop there. We're just as good. We're just as good. I can say that. We're just as good. We're great. Man, yeah, nothing on that front. He was seen today, though, as it is a golf course before he went back to the White House. Sarah says, but do we have confirmation from anyone inside Iran that actually has seen them arming pro-regime peeps? I mean, we saw like irrefutable evidence, but I don't know if we're gonna see clips of people just walking on the streets with AKs until like maybe like a little bit longer. It did surprise me onto how fast that happened because we heard the news about it 2 days ago. We covered it, and then today, the day after, they have like centers spread around like multiple cities. Of course, their propaganda is going to make it look like they're all over Iran and everyone's joining and stuff like that. But that's just far from the truth. It's far from the truth. Just think about it on a logistical level. Like you're an organization that's run out of money, so you're resorting to arming the most ineffective and cheapest options you have, just the regular regime supporters, children, and old people. You need weapons to do that. You need ammunition to do that. And how much training can you give these children? You know? So it's going to be really ineffective, but it's still going to do damage. And I hate the fact that we weren't thinking of this. At least I wasn't. I don't doubt that people on Prince Reza Pahlavi's team were thinking about it and they did arrive to this conclusion, but like, what are you supposed to do? How are you going to stop that from happening? I'm not a troll. I've seen this report. No, guys, we like, oh, the mushroom cloud. Yeah, we covered that. It was it's claimed to be a rocket engine that exploded, but I don't know about that. Like, it's the most suspicious timing. And also, if it was controlled and planned, wouldn't you like give warnings about it so that people aren't this surprised? I don't know. I don't know. But don't worry, it's not a nuke. That's not a nuke. We've actually seen explosions much larger than that, and yeah, they are not nukes. If you want to watch Mark Levin because Trump watches his show and respects him, but I agree that Trump has already made up his mind. I totally agree. Mark Levin, we cover his stuff or have been covering his stuff for months. And he has actually been really active on X about the like being a voice for Iranian people lately. All right, yeah. So the last thing we know is that Trump is in the White House. He's come back from the Gulf course and he's back home. Did Mark Levin post anything new? Um, nope. He just posted his show. I'm gonna check other news stuff. People seem to be anticipating because a lot of people are posting the hourglass emoji of time running out and all of the air activity that's been happening. But other than that, I don't see anything. Yeah, dang, I'm disappointed. I thought that was happening. And then I went and took a break, so I wasn't like I wasn't what do you call it? Checking and verifying it. So I was like, okay, we're ending the live at like 4:30. Armin and I usually have like a chat afterwards, and then I have like an hour before President Trump goes live. So I just laid down, closed my eyes, and then I woke up, and then boom. Show name Armin Ali. I wonder what the average person would think reading that. I don't know if they would. Yeah, I don't know what they would think really. We have a super chat from Mark of Reality. There was that freighter full of Chinese weapons that we captured the other day. It was allegedly stolen by pirates, but the Navy caught it. Oh, are we talking about the same freighter? You don't mean the freighter that the IRGC uh, got, right? That was like filled with weapons and equipment. You mean a different one? AliExpress. Show me the A team. Oh, the A team. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. The A team. It's very like I feel like if I was in I don't know if I was in like high school, I'd be like, we should do that. Probably the same one. Okay, if it is the same one, then the IRGC captured this Chinese boat, like a small ship, and inside of it were weapons and then like surveillance equipment, like reconnaissance stuff, and then some other stuff. And yeah, that happened during when Trump was in China, which the regime, the Islamic Republic, did not like. They did not like that China was talking to Trump like that. And then afterwards, China comes out and says, yes, we agree that the Islamic Republic should not have nuclear weapons and that the Strait of Hormuz should not be tolled, which is something the Islamic Republic is trying to do and has been trying to do for like a week or two. They're really trying to get some tolls going. And even they had such a dumb idea. You guys know how there's underwater cables that are in charge of the global internet? They wanted to charge tolls on companies like Amazon and just other companies. Be like, yes, because these wires go along our now claimed waters of like the Hormuz or whatever, you guys have to pay us like a monthly subscription to keep using them, or we're gonna destroy them. I'm like, you can't. You can't destroy them. Like even if you wanted to. Because like the way you would destroy them is if you got like a big ship, you took its anchor and you dragged that anchor along the seabed and it like caught on the wires and like you kept pulling it until it like snapped the wires. So I think we all know the problem with that one. They don't have a navy. Anyone know where he heard this? Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna call them out. It's probably just an honest mistake. I'm gonna do one last sweep here. Yeah, people just think the attacks are gonna happen this weekend. All right. Okay. Yeah, we got a little bamboozled. I wish the White House wouldn't have put that image up as well. Thank you guys for showing up. We got to hang out a little bit more. Bro, don't sell your soul. It's not worth it. Okay. All right, guys. Checking to see if anyone. Okay, cool. Thank you guys for showing up. Please feel free to relax for the remainder of your evening or night, wherever you are. And if you didn't sleep, please go sleep. I'll see you guys later. Jobbigt show. Payında İran.